Go ahead. Good morning, Hickory Sunrise.
Good morning. Let's see. Maybe have the pledge.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Amen.
Yes, Heavenly Father, we thank you for the day and for the rain. Oh, there's so much, but yet the earth needs it, so we thank you for the replenishment of this great gift to you. May you bless this time together, that we, as we prepare our hearts and minds in service to you and others, that you be with us, strengthen the club, be with those who couldn't be here today, but as we move forward, may we move forward together in Rotary service. And we ask this in your name. Amen.
Amen. Good morning, Rotary.
Good morning,
sir.
Good morning.
Good morning, Mr. Honeycutt.
Yes, sir. Good morning.
Mr. Honeycutt.
Yes, sir.
How you
Good morning,
doing
Michael.
today? How you doing?
Yes, I'm doing great.
Good.
All right.
White.
Several, yes.
Good morning.
One more is going to cost you. All right. Okay. First of all, Bob Steiger. Okay. We may have a little thing this morning. I don't understand. Chris, now his name is Lynn. Is that correct? You sponsor him. But he's still wearing Chris's badge. What is the issue? Have we not straightened this thing out?
Probably because when I walked in, you two were introducing each other.
Yes.
I smell it.
I figured out the problem, and that is with two pastors, and we're short our third one, but he hasn't been christened. You have to christen him for him to have a badge.
I ain't christened it. No.
So here, you have to give him a proper Christian name.
All right, Lynn, you are now, no, I can't give this to you.
No, you can't.
You have to get it right.
That's right.
Yes, sir, make it formal.
I thought that Bob, I thought you were afraid to christen somebody, you know.
Well, I can do some sprinkling, but I'm not going to do it.
Be no Duncan.
Lynn, on behalf of the club, it is a pleasure to welcome you again into Rotary service.
Pictures.
Yeah, pictures. We are awful proud of you. You're part of such a prestigious club.
Yeah.
And a group.
That's something.
Yes, group. I'm sure you are.
Is it the truth?
This is just,
Oh, what is this?
how do you get it apart?
Lynn,
It's a strong magnet.
Yes, it is. All right, well, take your wife's badge off.
Thank you very much.
why don't you tell him we're robustly proud of him, very proud of him, or, you know, gladly or something. Don't tell him awful.
You ready?
Turn and look at us when you do it. Come on.
You tell it's all about me? Oh,
We are-
we got
That's different, Hal.
Always.
All right. Good deal. Lynn, welcome to the club.
Thank you,
You
sir.
know what? That constituted a sex change too.
Just because it's got Chris in it.
I didn't know.
There you go.
I got
It
you.
seems to happen with Chris a lot, huh?
All right.
Are you talking now?
All right. We need some order. We need people talking. The Rotary is excited this morning. Several items.
He's
Okay.
talking. You're
All
not.
right. Here we go. We have a security officer in our club. I don't know if you're aware of it. This is security officer. Now, this is quite serious. Do you have anything to say about your
Well, I
security?
just say that, be careful, because I carry a flashlight about that big. So that's the most dangerous thing you let us carry out there.
Okay, well, that's great. Anything comes up, anything that I fail to do, you're in
I
charge.
can handle it.
Okay, you can handle it. Good. Richard, food for Jake.
Yes.
All right, everybody put their money in there for
I
Jake.
hope so. No. Uh-oh. I owe you one.
You owe me two.
Here you go.
I owe you two?
Yeah, you don't have your money with you this morning.
Oh, he hasn't. There you go.
No, hopefully hopefully
You
my,
don't want interest, money's interest.
All right,
my
Richard.
loan is on.
All right, this is just administrative. All right, you checked everybody off for bringing in their backpack, right?
So far.
So far. Now,
When they
this-
give me the checks anyway.
all right, next, there's $12 to go with that. Is anyone missing the $12 that you
Yes.
forgot to do that?
Yes.
All right.
That just brought their backpack, you mean?
Yes.
Yeah.
All right. Now, Michael, I'll pay yours. I'll pay yours because you bought all the backpacks. I'll pay your fine. Okay, anyone else? All right, Jim, there's another $1 back here on Jim. Jim, we got, all right, anyone else?
Jim.
Confession time. All right, Jim, you're coming. All right, you'll survive. All right,
Dead here. Dead.
one other issue. Well, there's two issues. I'll do the last one here for the guests. All right, as you know, Glenn and Richard have had issues, and we've addressed this the last time, and our mediator over here has worked through it, and we fined them $5 apiece to get this thing settled.
Which one, the personal issues are?
It's both.
Okay, they got personal issues.
It is. All right, Dan has suggested we find it $5, and he felt like if we would give any encouragement, we could return a little bit to each one of them. Last week, I personally gave each one $1 because they have made progress. Okay, now, here's the check. Glenn, have you seen any issues this week? Has there been everything
There's
fine?
not been much improvement this time around.
Uh-oh.
We're going backwards, I think.
Going back, Richard, I need $1. I need my $1 back because it's going back.
Give it all back.
Now, why would I get punished for it?
Well, I'm just, Glenn.
Why don't you ask me if things are working?
All right, how is it?
You're the aggressor, right?
Yeah, he is an aggressor. I saw what happened. Do you have any comments on this?
The aggressor.
Help me, Dan. Legal counsel.
He said, take it, take it.
Dan said you can give it back, but you can take that back from him. So I'm taking that $1 back because I don't think you made no progress. I need $1.
He's the aggressor.
All right.
Thank you, sir. Hey, Reggie, he needs to go back to Syria.
All right, the last item.
That's right. Like the Syrian.
This is serious. We have a guest that'll be introduced as a speaker just in a moment, but there's an issue. This is LRU, Little Rhine University, and our guest came in with the University of South Carolina umbrella. Now that's bad. All
Wait
right.
a minute now.
All right, good. Uh-oh.
That's about as good as you can get right there.
All right.
She brought more than an umbrella.
Yes, I saw that with this. Now,
I love it.
I want $1 from you. Your University of South Carolina, pay our guest $1 because she came in not knowing this.
Oh, I could have known it, but it still brought it.
Uh-oh. All right.
He needs to pay another $1 too, because he just, so it's not true what he said. He said that's about as good as it gets, and I mean, I roll tide.
I know. You have to overlook
Most
some
of his old school.
I have to roll, like he said, roll tide, doesn't that now?
All right. President, Mr. President-elect, it's all yours.
All right. Thank you very much, Dr. Wayne. Now we will have, would you like to introduce our guest?
I will, except for one thing. I have one little bit of business I gotta finish. Veterans, I need to know, was Gerardo a vet, do we know?
No.
No. Okay. Steve Hunt?
No.
Shoot. Ron Leach, vet. Ken Luderbach,
Was I a veteran?
did you serve in the armed forces?
He's not even from America.
I didn't ask that. I asked if he served in the armed forces.
Hey, he could have been,
No.
Royal Mounted Police.
That's right.
Does anybody know the Robert McClellan?
No.
You ain't gonna sneak in, we gonna see you.
There is no getting by.
Hey, how you doing, Steve? Glad you could make it.
Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. I'm fine. How are
Acting
you?
all like a ninja trying to slide in.
Steve, how you doing today?
Okay, Robert McClellan, was he a vet?
No.
How about Scott Owen? Anybody know, did he ever serve?
No.
Good.
Mark Pittman?
All right.
No.
No. Glenn, you serve?
No, I wasn't.
Gavin, did you serve? Armed Forces, not the U.S. Armed Forces, just Armed Forces.
No, the cook was too itchy.
Oh, okay.
Congrats.
Walter served, right?
Yeah.
We said Phil Trick was a penal servant. Did Joe Westfall serve? Does anybody know Joe well enough to?
I don't know.
I'll have to ask Rick. Okay. How about Jen White? She served, didn't she? Oh,
I don't know.
okay. How about Yapundish? Did he serve? No? Okay, I'm done. Gentlemen, it is my pleasure to introduce the district governor nominee for District 7670. If you want a hard time in your life, try to keep up with her schedule. I follow her on Facebook and we're friends, and I'm always a day and a half or two behind in catching posts for where she is, where she's been, and where her little pet has been. You'll see him. I'll start reposting some of those where Cocky's been, because I know he was down to Florida for the literary project. He's been to Little Rock, and he's been to Columbia. Anyhow, this is Tiffany Irvin. She is a longtime servant of District 7670. I first met her when she was public image chair and conference chair, and she hasn't slowed down since. Talk about dedicated. Robert, how would you like, Bob, how would you like to give up auto fitness so you could serve a year as a governor?
You want the keys now?
Well, she's done just that. She gave up her retail boutique and to free up her time to be even a more active servant. I give you Tiffany Irvin. Either end you wish.
What do you guys prefer? Does it matter? I've moved around a lot, so if that's okay.
Okay, I'll tell you what.
Okay.
Why don't you go up by those guys?
Okay.
Not rolling.
All right. There you go. Then I'm going to give you guys business cards. You can take one and pass it down if you would like one. It's got all my contact information on it. Let me bring Cocky because
Oh, please do.
he might be sleeping, but he can, if I have to wake up, he has to wake up. He travels with me everywhere I go. He's the only person that doesn't complain about my driving. So, therefore, he just kind of hangs out with me. So, we'll just sit him right there. You see, he collects pens. We were in Little Rock, Arkansas this past weekend. Sorry about that. I spoke at a joint district conference in Little Rock this past weekend, and I was at the Missouri Pets the week before that, and Florida Pets before that. So, Bob's right. We do travel quite a bit, but I love being right here in my home district, and I realized I haven't been here with you guys in many, many years. So, hopefully we'll rectify that, and I'll be back more often. But I just wanted to share with you guys this morning a little bit about my passion and kind of tell you, so you can get to know me a little better and I can get to know you guys. So I thought that I would start by, in order for you to figure out how I became this Rotary geek that I am today, you kind of have to know where I came from. So I'm going to tell you a couple of stories about how I got here today, and then hopefully you'll get the feeling for my passion in Rotary as well. So there are really three things that influenced me growing up. And the first one is, I am what they affectionately call a PK. Do you guys know what that is?
Preacher's kid.
Now, when you answer that fast, you make me nervous. Because that means that you guys have these preconceived ideas about us preacher's kids. You think that we're the ones that got your kids in trouble. And you know the truth. Okay. And so, but it's true that, they were always watching. They expected you to be perfect. I wasn't then. I'm not now by any means. But the reality is, it was really awesome growing up as a preacher's kid. My daddy to this day is the sweetest, kindest man I've ever met. He still will pull over on the side of the road and help someone, regardless of gender, race, color. It doesn't matter. He's gonna always be there to help people. He taught me a lot of really valuable lessons. How many of you guys grew up in? And I'm gonna say guys because it's literally. Guys, that's another conversation we have to have. But how many of you guys grew up in churches that had church league softball or church league basketball? Y'all remember that, right? We did too. But my brother and sister were 10 and 12 years older than me. So they were always playing sports with my mom and dad, and I was just usually playing in the dirt because I was a little bitty thing. But I can remember one night we were late getting to a softball game because my daddy had a meeting. So we walk up to the dugout and my daddy says, "Hey Dennis, how we doing?" Dennis says, "Preacher, we're down 16-0." My daddy says, "Oh, it's going to be a long night, isn't it?" He says, "It's okay, preacher. Don't worry. We haven't batted yet." And so it was one of those no matter what I've been going through in my life, my daddy will say to me, hang in there, baby, it's going to be okay. You just haven't batted yet. It's going to be all right. So that was a really valuable lesson. So I think that watching my dad when I was growing up, he was always giving back to the community and being such a servant, that I was destined to become this Rotary geek. And I didn't even know what Rotary was at the time. Now, the second thing that really influenced me growing up is that you want to talk about stereotypes and thick skin? I also grew up a pageant girl. I competed in the Miss... I heard that. See? Those stereotypes. I've heard them all. You can't hurt my feelings. I've heard the one about the girl in interviews. She was asked, what is your opinion of euthanasia? And she said, I believe they should have the same rights as you. So you can't hurt my feelings. The reality is I grew up with, I wasn't one of those toddlers in tears. I started at 13, 14 years old, competed in the Miss America organization. Here's a piece of trivia for you. I won talent in the Miss South Carolina pageant, playing dueling banjos on the flute. Right? It's on YouTube if you want to see. So it was one of those things where I won a lot of scholarship money. I paid for my college education. I developed my poise and posture and public speaking and interviewing skills. All of those things have come into play as an adult, and I'm really grateful for that opportunity. So if you don't take advantage of those local contestants like Miss Hickory, things like that, you should be, because they are valuable community servants who want to give back to the community. So I encourage you to look for people like that who have a heart for service. I think that I was destined to become this Rotary geek, and I didn't even know what Rotary was. Now, the third thing that influenced me growing up, it probably doesn't have anything to do with me being a Rotary geek, but it has a lot to do with who I am as a person, and that's that I'm a huge sports fan. I grew up watching sports with my daddy and my Uncle Tillman. When I was little, we didn't have the worldwide leader in sports. We had TBS and WGN, so I grew up watching the Braves and the Cubs and my Gamecocks, and that's where I ended up going to school. I graduated with a degree in broadcast journalism from the University of South Carolina, and I still to this day have season football, season women's basketball tickets, parking passes. I'm on one of the officers of the Gamecock Club, and I love my Gamecocks. I had an opportunity as an adult. I worked for Channel 13 WLOS for many, many years as a TV host there and as a sideline reporter. And I got to do a lot of games all over the Southeast, high school, college games, baseball, basketball, football, you name it. So I met a lot of really interesting people over the years. If you like to watch funny YouTube videos, I encourage you, and we all like to watch those, right? So I encourage you, when you go onto YouTube, in the search bar, just put in Tiffany Irvin hit by player. Yeah. That's an interesting one. So I had a lot of really interesting experiences as a sideline reporter. I'm really grateful for that opportunity. But it gives me an opportunity to travel with my little Gamecock mascot. He collects pens from wherever we go. He got some new ones this weekend. And there's the one from Arkansas this past weekend. And like I said, he doesn't complain about my driving, so it works out pretty well for me as well. But I get the opportunity to travel around and share my Rotary story, not just here in our district, but all over the country. I've spoken in Brazil, I've spoken at the Atlanta Convention, and I've spoken in Alaska and all over. And I'll be going to several other states in the next year or so before I become district governor for our district, which will be July 1 of 2019. And then my travel schedule will slow down a little bit because I'll be staying at home a little bit more. But I love sharing my Rotary story because, you see, I look at Rotary a little bit differently than most people. Many of you in this room have been Rotarians for a very long time, so you have that knowledge of how it used to be. Y'all remember the days when all we talked about was classifications. Oh, the new city exec of the bank just moved to town. We better get him in our club before somebody else gets it. Or the new college president just moved to town. We better get her in our club before the other club down the street gets her. We did that a lot back then, and classifications are still important. But maybe we should look at a little bit more than that, because I think what happened was we failed to ask a really important question about those people. Do they have a heart for service? Because that's what every one of you have in this room, or else you wouldn't be here. And I look at Rotary a little bit differently than most people. You see, I don't believe that everybody deserves to be a Rotarian. Think about that for a minute. It's very similar if you think about the Miss America organization or college football. I think they have something really important and really in common with Rotary. Because you see, not every high school football player deserves to get drafted or win a college scholarship or play in the NFL or win the Heisman Trophy, right? But those that do have worked their entire lives for that opportunity. They've given up blood, sweat, tears, literally, their summer vacations, their spring breaks, and they have worked so hard for that opportunity. And the same is true with young women who compete for Miss America. Every young girl who competes does not deserve to win Miss America. I mean, listen, if they did, I'd have won it 3 times. I'm just saying. But I didn't, and that's okay. But those that do have worked their entire lives for that opportunity. They've developed their personality, their poise and posture, their public speaking skills, their talent, their interview skills, their physical fitness, all of those things. And they deserve that opportunity. And the same is true with people who have worked hard to be ethical, to have a vocation that they're proud of, to represent their vocation in their community, who want to network, who want to fellowship, and have a heart for service and want to give back to their communities here at home or around the world. Those are the people who deserve to be Rotarians. And so I encourage you to think about those people in your community that you know that aren't yet Rotarians but deserve to be. Maybe it's the people who put food out by their mailbox on Postal Carrier Food Drive Day. Maybe it's the people in your community who foster pets for the Humane Society. Maybe it's someone in your church who goes on international mission trips and service trips because they have that global knowledge. Maybe it's someone who serves on the board of United Way with you. Maybe it's someone who's in your office that's a new employee or a new resident in town that doesn't know anyone. Those people deserve to be Rotarians. 10 years ago, we had 1.2 million Rotarians in the world. Today, we have 1.2 million Rotarians around the world. We're not growing. We're bringing in new people, but we're losing them as well. And for some reason, maybe sometimes it's because we failed to ask those really important questions. Did they deserve to be a Rotarian in the first place? Now, I've been in Rotary for a long time, about 16 years. And I was in Rotary for a long time where I went to my meeting every week. I chaired every committee, fundraising and social media and public image and auction, you name it. I chaired all the committees. And I was in Rotary, but Rotary was never in me. And I had an opportunity many years ago. Many of you will remember past District Governor Frank Dean, who is very enthusiastic about providing wheelchairs to folks. And I had an opportunity to go on a trip with him to deliver wheelchairs to people with spina bifida in Medellin, Colombia. And it was a really important trip for me because my mom was born with spina bifida. And so I knew just enough about it to probably be dangerous, but I knew it was something I thought I could be interested in. So I saved my money and I went on this trip. And I got to see firsthand what our Rotary dollars do around the globe. And that is when everything changed for me. Because for the first time I saw a woman pick up her child off of a dirt floor and put him in a wheelchair and give him mobility and independence for the very first time. And everything changed for me. Because I wasn't in Rotary, Rotary was now in me. And I really thought that that was going to be my passion in this organization. And I was going to continue to give and volunteer and work for making sure that every person who needed one had a wheelchair. But you see, I had no idea that just a few short years later, my mother, my best friend, was going to be diagnosed with Alzheimer's. And not a single person in this room, I'd be willing to bet, has not been touched by this disease in some form or fashion. I can tell you it was just 9 weeks ago that my mother passed away. And it's still really, really fresh for me. But I believed in this organization because there is one man in Sumter, South Carolina, who believed that by throwing our spare change into a bucket, we could find a cure for this disease. One person came up with that idea, y'all. One person. People tell me all the time, well, Tiffany, if we had 5 of you in our club, we'd be doing everything. We'd be getting money for part, and we'd be doing public image, and we'd be doing fundraisers, and we'd be growing in membership. Listen, if you had 5 of me, you'd want a straitjacket, because I'm like this all the time. I never slow down. I am always going. And you know why? I believe that we all have different skills and talents and passions. So my advice to you is to find your passion and make it your purpose. See, I'm not one of those that can write a big check to the Rotary Foundation. I'm just out there trying to figure out how to pay my mortgage come the 5th of every month. But I have skills and talents that I can contribute. I travel around, I waive all of my professional fees for keynote speaking when I'm traveling, doing Rotary events. That's a way I can give back. I volunteer my time to chair fundraisers and special events and membership and public image because that's how I can give back. Now, if I ever win the lottery, I'm going to write that big check for the Rotary Foundation. But in the meantime, I give my $30 a quarter because it's the right thing to do, because it's my foundation, and that's how I can make a difference. So I'm grateful for people in my community and in my club who have helped make us an all Paul Harris club. For those people who give as major donors, I'm grateful for those people. I'm grateful for people who are traveling around the world to make sure that we are eradicating polio. I keep my pinky painted purple for polio plus at all times. I believe we're giving polio the finger. I'm sure Rotary wishes I would stop saying it that way. But we are so close to eradicating a disease, and we did that. You did that. So I'm grateful for people who are passionate about clean water in Ghana. And I'm grateful for people who are passionate about putting food in the hands of children on the weekends, or people who want to put a dictionary in the hand of a third grader, or provide a scholarship so that a kid can get a college education. Because who we are is what we do with what we have. Who we are is what we do with what we have, and we all have different talents and skills and passions and things that we can give back. So my question to you is, what are you going to give back to this club, to this community, to this district, to make us better, to make us bigger? I was speaking to a Rotary Club in Anchorage, Alaska a few years ago. Room full of people, a lunch meeting, and they find you, like Wayne does here, and they find you, if you're not, I'm going to give you a new idea.
No, I've been there.
Oh, you've been to this, the Anchorage International Club.
Yes.
They fine you if you're not wearing your Rotary pin. And so at the beginning of the meeting, they raise their hand, the sergeant always says, oh, this is the best part, Nikki, this is what you need. He has this big fur hat that has a Rotary cog on the front of it. It is awesome. I said to the guy, I've got to have my picture made wearing that hat. He goes, honey, you don't want that hat anywhere near your head. Trust me, you don't want to do that. So I did not get that photo off. But so what they do is they say, raise your hand if you're wearing your Rotary pin today. 75% of the room, their hands go up. It's fabulous. But those that don't, they have to pay a fine. So when I got up to speak to them, I said, guys, I'm so impressed by all of you wearing your Rotary pin today. I said, do me a favor, raise your hand again if you're wearing your Rotary pin today. And 75% of the room, their hands went up. I said, now do me a favor and keep your hand up if you wear it every day. And their hands started coming down. And I asked them the same question that I asked you. Are you only a Rotarian on Wednesday at breakfast? Today's Wednesday, isn't it? My days, I don't know. Or are you proud to be a Rotarian every single day? Because you know what that pin says about you? It says that you have a heart for service. It says that you're a person of high ethical standards who lives, works, and breathes by the four-way test. It says that you want to make a difference and be an inspiration to others around the world. And aren't you proud of that? You should be. Don't you want to do business with people just like that? We should, right? So think about wearing your pin every single day. It is a billboard for who we are and what we do. I want us to change the vocabulary that we use in Rotary. For those of you who've been around for a long time, I'm sure you've heard the conversations we talk about bringing in new members and how important it is. We talk about recruitment and retention. Now that sounds like the armed services, doesn't it? Recruitment and retention. I want us to change the language, okay? Let's don't talk about recruiting new members. Let's talk about attracting new members. I want you to think about how attractive is your club to outsiders. Now listen, I'm going to tell you an example. I spoke to a club in Myrtle Beach, South Carolina, where they still have a head table, and it was a lunch meeting. I come in and they say the buffet is down there, you get your lunch, you come sit here, this is your seat at the head table. I did that. I went and got my lunch, I came and sat at the head table, and 20 minutes later when they introduced me, I was the only person still sitting at the head table. Do you think that was a very attractive club? Listen, I can talk to a tree. You think it bothered me? But what if it is someone that had never been to a Rotary meeting before, didn't know anything about us? Would they have ever wanted to come back? Would they have ever even considered joining that club? Now, I want you guys to think about that. You don't have any women in here. I think there's 2 on the roster, right? But if a woman showed up as a guest, not me, because I'll talk to a tree, would she feel comfortable? Would she feel like this is an attractive club? And I'm not saying she wouldn't. I'm just saying these are the things I want you to think about. Because sometimes we have to look inside and think about the things that we do every single day, and is it attractive to outsiders? There's a video you can watch. You can do this for a program one week if you want, online on my YouTube channel, called The Imperfect Rotary Meeting. Watch it and think about all the things that you might do in your club that perhaps wouldn't be attractive to outsiders. And of course, everything you do is on the internet because Bob does such a great job of recording the meetings. So you have to really think about that. So think about, is your club attractive to outsiders? And what can you do to attract a different kind of people? Perhaps you need younger, perhaps you need older, perhaps you need people who are in a certain classification. You need to look at those kinds of things, and that's another conversation altogether. I just wanted to introduce that concept. And the other idea, instead of retaining your members, I want you to think about engaging your members. So instead of recruitment and retention, I want us to talk about attraction and engagement. For my club, we don't count perfect attendance. Now, I would have it like for everyone in this room probably, because I go to so many Rotary meetings. We talk about perfect engagement. So on Saturday mornings, if we can't be at Rotary on Monday nights, on Saturday mornings you can be at Special Needs Baseball and get your makeup that day. For you guys, maybe it's delivering a backpack. Maybe it's working some other service project. But I encourage you to think about those people in your community who said, I can't be there for breakfast every Wednesday, so I'm just going to drop out, or I'm not going to join. Perhaps there's something else they can do. Maybe it's a school teacher who can't be here because they're in school, but they could be the Interact sponsor at the high school, or the Rotaract sponsor here at the college, or the university. What are those things that those people can bring to the table, even if they can't be here every single week? And then think about what those other opportunities are for them to network and fellowship with you as a group. My club meets on Mondays, and so anytime there are 5 Mondays in the month, we do a 5th Monday social. For some of you who know, I'm the Four Seasons Club. We were a breakfast club for many years. And in 2014 or 15, I can't remember now, 15 I believe, we started a satellite club because I would invite people to come to Rotary and they would say, oh, well, sorry, I drop my kids off at school, or I work swing shifts, or I just can't get there every week. And so I would always say, well, we have a noon club in town. You could go visit them. Oh, I don't have 2 hours for lunch. I can't afford it. Da, da, da. So I started thinking, is this the only reason people aren't coming? Is because the time is so inconvenient. So we started a satellite club in the evenings. We called it the happiest hour in Rotary. And we had it at a local bar and restaurant. No meals. There was no expense there unless they wanted to stay and have a cocktail or have dinner afterwards. And so what's interesting about that is 3 years later, we are now an all-evening club. We got down to 4 people at breakfast. Now what that says to me is that had we not done that 3 years ago, our club would be gone now. But because we were able to attract people who were interested in more different times and more flexibility and creativity and innovation, we were able to keep them in Rotary and attract new people. And so keep in mind that the Rotary Council on Legislation back in 2016 gave us all kinds of options. There are no Rotary police. We can do what works in our communities. What works in Hickory may not work in Hendersonville, and that's okay. Think about what works in your community and what is needed here to make your club vibrant and enthusiastic and that would continue to grow. Because we all have different skills and talents and passions, and it's important that we recognize that and we find those people who have those skills. Perhaps you need somebody who is an attorney. Perhaps you need someone who is good at social media. Perhaps you need someone who's good at fundraising. Look at those areas of expertise that you need in addition to diversity as well. Everybody does their fundraisers. I always love when I travel. People like to tell me ideas of things that they do in their community, and I get lots of great ideas. And I have an entire presentation that I did in Atlanta that is ideas that I've gleaned from all over the country and all over the world, really. But everybody does a 5K or an 8K or a 10K. So I wanted to do a fundraiser for the CART Fund that my club would sponsor. So we have the areas only 0K. It is all the fun without the run. We do not run. You show up, you get lunch, you get entertainment with a band. We have an official starter who blows the horn, and then everybody races to the bar. It is a great event. And so that's coming up on May the 6th. That will be our 2nd annual. If you guys are interested, we would love to have you join us. There is information online about that. It is a great event. It is all for the CART Fund, so we have a lot of folks from our district who support that. So I encourage you. People say to me all the time, you really think outside the box. There is no box. Think about that for a minute. You don't have to think outside the box. Just throw away the box. Think about what works in your community. But think about something like that perhaps no one has ever thought of in your community. I'll admit, I stole it from somebody else around the country. I don't even remember where I saw it, but I remember hearing it in the back of my head or on the internet somewhere thinking, I can do that. I can run 0Ks. I can do that part. So think about those things that perhaps are needs in your community. Think about what the community needs and how you can partner and make that happen. And then think about those people who deserve to be Rotarians. I'm really grateful for the opportunity to share my Rotary story and to travel around and I get to brag on our Rotary district and my club all over the world. And I'm really grateful for that opportunity. But I really cannot wait. I really look forward to being a servant of this district and getting to know all of you better and helping you do whatever it is that you want for your club. It's not one of those situations of I'm from the government and I'm here to help you. It's more like I'm from the district and I really am here to help you. I am your contact. I am the person that if you have questions or needs or you need assistance or you need me to be here to talk to somebody or to close the deal or help you with sponsorships or events or public conventions, that's what I'm here for. And I hope that you'll take advantage of that because I'm really looking forward to us having just another tremendous couple of years in the years to come. So that's what I'm all about. And I hope that you can think about those ways that perhaps you don't have your Rotary story yet. Perhaps you haven't had that one Rotary moment. But you will if you open yourself up to that opportunity. You put yourself in those situations where you're volunteering and you're serving, you're going to have those opportunities where something is going to trigger you. Or perhaps it'll trigger someone in your family or someone in your life or someone that you know who says, I'd like to do that too. Because remember, who we are is what we do with what we have. And we all have different talents and skills and passions. So I encourage you to find your passion and make it your purpose. Thank you guys so much for the opportunity to be here this morning.
Tiffany, it's a pleasure to see you again.
Thank you.
Thank you. We here at Hickory Sunrise Rotary would like to share with our guest, a gift. It is a gift made by our own dear Wayne Honeycomb.
Oh, wow.
Oh, yes, he has talent other than taking money. Okay. And I want you to know that this gift is given from the top and bottom of our heart. And you're awfully welcome here.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you,
you.
Donald. Thank you. Thank you.
Hey, Donald?
Yeah.
I think in honor of our guests, we should warm up our blue buckets. And I'll start it off.
There you go. Yep. Hey, in honor of our guests, we should, hey, you know, I like that idea. You know, oftentimes,
And the overflow goes on down to Columbia.
there you go. I like the idea of responding. Sometimes in this club, we'll have good ideas come through, and we just don't act on them. But this is one I think that we can act on.
Well, if our president was here, he would have probably done a matching thing, and I think he's planning on doing that.
So I'm gonna do a match. I got $2. Okay, we're gonna match that. I got $2. You match that. Okay. And I tell you what, this is what I'm gonna do. I have a little airplane I'm making. If I hit a bucket, who wants to bet me $10 that I don't hit the bucket?
You don't hit
Not hit the bucket, I guess.
And you said hit, not kick, right?
No, I'm gonna throw it into that bucket. No, seriously. Anybody want to take that bet?
From where you standing?
From where I'm standing.
To which bucket?
That bucket over there that's over there by
Yes, that
my brother there, and he's moving it. Okay, anybody
Don't hit it.
that I do not hit it? I got $10 that says that I will hit it for the cart fund. There it sits. Now, anybody want to take me up on it? All right, once I throw, it's gonna go down to 5.
I will do 5.
You'll do 5.
That's all I got.
Well, you could wait on one of the throws.
Now,
But you gonna do 5?
I'll
Anybody
do
else want to
5.
imagine 5?
I'll do 5.
Come on, ready?
I'll give you another shot.
Okay, 5.
Yeah.
From where I stand.
And the bucket
My
doesn't.
bucket stay right, my feet stay right here.
Oh, my God.
He moved the bucket.
Wham done.
He moved the bucket.
Okay, why don't you get, where do
Okay,
we stand with backpack?
all right. Anybody got the news on where we are with the backpacks?
Backpacks, yes. Those that have given me the money for the backpacks, thank you so much, the 12. I'm assuming that when you gave me the 12, your backpack is there with your picture on it or the face of a child. Those that I think just gave the money for it, Steve, I think, and Dan, thank you. And then I'll send an email out of those that I have not collected yet. But again, too, thank you for doing all that stuff. I called to see if I could take that up to the mission today, and I cannot because nobody's there. So I'll just have to store them until maybe Saturday or next week sometime and take them up. unfortunately, I think it's raining outside, so we won't get a chance to get a picture unless we do it right in here. But again, too, thank you all for doing that Face of a Child program. It's well worth it.
Thank you.
Let's do this. Let's get a picture of Tiffany Hickory and the president-elect at the front. Then we'll stack all the backpacks on that end of the table, gather around it, and let Cocky be in front of the stack. We can use those for promo pictures.
So you guys down that end stack all the bags on the table.
Yes, we
You heard it.
Yeah.
And you guys on that end stay down there when we take a
Yeah.
picture.
Tiffany, I don't know if you know what that Face of a Child is, but it's actually, it comes from the country of Moldova, which is east of Romania. And I've been there, Glenn's been there, Bob's been there, and what they do they have an orphanage that's run by the state. And the orphanage kids that are there, until they get about 16, and when they do, they're put out on the street. And in some cases, some of the orphanages are closed, and they push the kids out into the villages, and then somebody has to take care of them. And so what the Little Samaritan Mission does, which is in Granite Falls, which is run by Florin, who was Romanian, he goes and takes pictures of kids that are in the villages and or the orphanages. And then he distributes those pictures to people like us, which is Rotary Club, a lot of churches. And so what we do as our club, and we've been doing it since we started in 2000, is we all take a picture, and it could be a backpack, it could be just a bag, and they give us a list of things that need to go in those bags, and we collect them for that particular child. It tells the age, it tells the shoe size, it tells the information that you need. And so what you do is you collect it all. You have fun collecting all that stuff and putting them in there. And then we take them to the mission. Then the mission takes them and puts them in boxes that's designated for that particular orphanage or village. And then they put them in containers, and the containers go to Odessa, port of Odessa, in Ukraine. And then from there it's transported to Moldova. And then when you get to if you get a chance to go and be able to take those backpacks and give it to those kids, those orphans, that's I say the neat part. That's sort of the heartfelt time. And they take those bags and they're just excited about it, and they go about, opening it up and showing people what they have. It's wonderful.
The picture books of our trip are at Bob's office.
Richard, do you know how many total bags Florin gets over there every year?
I don't have a clue.
Probably somewhere between 500 and 1,000, probably.
Oh, it's more than that.
Is it?
More
So
than
it's
that.
a real international thing that we've been doing since 2000. So
Because what our church does 50 or 80, we do 20, 30, and every church in the area is doing that.
How did we hear
that's
about
what
this?
Face of a Child's all about.
How did we hear about Face of a Child?
Florine Pindigblaj, who lives in Granite, is also the Romanian ambassador. And he is the founder of the Face of a Child mission at Micul Chisinau, Micul Samaritan Chisinau. And he and his daughter she led our trip to distribute. Yeah.
So that's what this is all about.
Okay, thank you.
You want a promo
No,
picture?
we're gonna get the promo pictures. We're gonna get Tiffany.
You. President-elect, sir, up at the podium.
I don't mind taking the picture with Tiffany, but the deal is that I just don't like taking pictures.
Well, you're gonna
We're gonna have to
stand
figure out something else.
Okay,
Doing
Cocky's prettier than you are anyhow, so.
Who takes the picture? We ought to have the person who brought to take the picture.
Don't take your picture, President. Please. It's the oncoming year, it's gotta be.
Then we don't want to find him.
Ron?
3.5 hours.
Donna, turn Cocky so you are the podium right. Oh, okay, yeah.
Now let's see.
Y'all need a guard?
Yes, please.
Yeah, get that flashlight out.
Come on, call guard.
Thanks, guys. These guys cheated.
They cheated. They wanted to lose money.
Okay, we start moving something, I gotta get up.
Okay.
Put Cocky on top of the pile.
Yeah.
He deserves the recognition. Oh, I love it.
Richard should be in.
I can't be in that picture. I can't be in that picture, I'm over here.
Mike, you need to be over here.
Michael, get in the back of the pack. Move, Mike, come on, get in there. Everybody, come on, I need a full picture. Okay.
Well, he just wanted to know what to do.
I'm gonna put this on.
This is my friend Gavin.
Wheels on you, not that big. Bring that edge in a little bit.
Suck it in, right?
Harmony bar.
This is my buddy.
Okay. Gavin wants one for his phone.
No, I want one with you, Bob, that's the thing.
Oh, look at that, Bob.
Y'all squeeze it.
Regroup back in the technology. There was a time when you could set your,
Can you try to be a bit better looking, except Tiffany, she's doing fine.
No, you didn't have to.
All right.
On the script.
Yeah, I use my timer all the time, so I'll go
I was
and
just there.
Oh, did you?
Good. Hey, wait. Yeah, yeah.